earthly thing. So won't you, over every thought, over every thought, over every word, may my life reflect the beauty of the Lord. 'Cause you've been more to me than any earthly thing. So won't you reign in me again, Lord, reign in me, reign in your power over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign, oh Lord, reign, Lord, reign in me, reign in your power over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign in me again? Darkest hour, you are the Lord of all I am. So won't you reign? Bwana tawala, Bwana tawala kwa nguvu zako juu ya ndoto zangu wakati wa giza. Wewe ndiwe Bwana wa yote nilio, basi nitawala. Oh Lord, reign in me over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the Lord of all I am. So would you reign in me, Lord, reign. God, may you reign in our hearts this morning. For we are pouring ourselves to you, God. Because who is like you, O God, God of heaven, God of earth? There is none who compares to you or to your majesty. In every day, in the day of our youth, in the day of every bit of our lives, you are still God, and you will be God. So receive the praise, Jesus. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. He gives life. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath So we pour out our praise to you only. Great are you, Lord. You are God. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. You give life. You give life. You are love. You bring light to the darkness. You give hope. You restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath, Lord, in our lungs. So we pour out our praise to you only. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. And all the earth, all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. At the top of our voices, all the earth, and all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise to you only. Great are you, Lord. Every season, great are you, Lord. It doesn't matter where we are, your name still is to be praised. So great is your name. Receive our praises, Lord. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise to you only. Great are you, Lord. can feel the breath in our lungs. Great are you, Lord. Lord, we rest in your goodness, in your kindness and mercy. Because who is man that you're mindful of? Who are we that you love so much? We've done nothing to deserve your love, Jesus, but you've loved us. Great are you, Lord. So fill us this morning, God. Fill us up with your breath, with your truth that surpasses all understanding. Bring healing, bring freedom in this place. As great is your name. Thank you, God. Fill me up, fill my cup. Draw me to your warm embrace. Jesus, you are all I need. More of you is what I want. More of you is what I need. Take me, Jesus, lead me through. Fill me up. Fill me up. Fill my cup, draw me to your warm embrace. Jesus, you are all I need. More of you. More of you is what I want. More of you is what I need. Take me, Jesus, lead me through. 'Cause I can never make it. I can never make it. My request is that you fill me. I can never make it without you. I can never make it. My request is that you fill me. I can never make it without you. Fill me up. Fill me up. Fill my cup. Draw me to your warm embrace. Jesus, you are all I need. More of you, Lord. More of you is what I need. More of you is what I want. Take me, Jesus, lead me through. 'Cause I can never make it. I can never unijaze Bwana wa mabwana, naomba unijaze leo Bwana, naomba unijaze Bwana wa mabwana, naomba unijaze leo Bwana, naomba unijaze Bwana wa mabwana, naomba unijaze leo Bwana, siwezi bila wewe, unijaze leo Bwana, siwezi bila wewe, ewe Bwana, siwezi bila wewe, unijaze leo Bwana, siwezi bila wewe, ewe Bwana, siwezi bila wewe, unijaze leo Bwana, siwezi bila wewe, ewe Bwana. We can never make it. Our request is that you fill us. We can never make it without you. We can never make it. We can never make it. Our request is that you fill us. We can never make it without you. Why don't we just stay there for a bit?
And now I'd like to welcome us to a time of giving. Giving is one of the ways that we worship here at Trinity. And the first way that we do this is through our food bank. If you have any food items, cereals, milk, anything of the sort, there's a basket at the back, and you can bring it. You can bring your items there. So the food bank is open throughout the week, not just on Sundays. You can bring something at the reception, and our team will make sure that it gets to someone who needs it. Another way that we give is through monetary ways. We have a green box at the back, so you can drop your funds there as you come to receive communion or at any other time during the service. We also have an M-Pesa till, which is 193399. That is 193399. You can give through M-Pesa, through that, or if you have any other questions, please write to us or see someone with a tag and they can be able to help you. I'd like to welcome the community servers, please. Please walk down the aisle and we can receive communion together. like request us to stand so we can share communion together. So I would just like to explain a little bit about communion and why we do it. Communion is a means of grace that is given to us by our Lord Jesus. On the Last Supper that he had with his friends before his arrest, torture, crucifixion, Jesus broke bread and shared a cup with his disciples. The cup, his blood, is poured out for the washing away of sin, and the bread, his body, is broken for us to be made whole. He then instructed them to always do this in remembrance of him. When we share in communion, we come to God's table, and his very presence is with us. When we share in communion, we join with all saints across space and time to declare Christ's death and resurrection until his return. We do this every week when we gather. Everyone is welcome at the table where God is our host, regardless of where you are on your journey. Come and receive God's grace. Take some time to become aware of this moment. Who you God is, who you are, and who the body of Christ is. We need to do this in honor. Take some time to bring before Jesus things unresolved in your soul, be it sin, fear, resentment, discontent, discouragement, and surrender them to him in prayer. Take some time in thanksgiving for his life, his love, his sacrifice, and even what you have received from him. So as for communion, I would ask us to maybe turn to your neighbor, if it's someone new, if it's your family, and we can share it together. Faithful one, we come to your table, taste of your kingdom. Gracious one, may your spirit be poured out upon these elements. May this bread and cup be for us a revival of hope and a renewal of courage as we encounter your presence among the ordinary gifts of life. Through the grace of your sustenance, may Christ be with us. He took the bread, blessed it, broke it, gave it to his disciples, and said, "Of me." You may take your element, your body. After the meal, he took the cup, he blessed it, and shared it, saying, "This cup is poured out as a new covenant. We proclaim the mystery of our faith. Christ was birthed among us. Christ was executed among us. Christ rises again among us." You may take your cup. You may be seated for the talk. I'd like to welcome Sean and Meredith and the team.
No? There I am. Now I can hear me. All right. Welcome to Trinity Vineyard. If you're new here, if you're visiting for the first time, welcome again. Welcome if you've been a long-time attender here. We're going to continue our series on community. So Meredith and I are going to just give a quick breakdown of what the past 2 weeks have been about. And unfortunately, Meredith has had a nasty cough because of some tomatoes that didn't agree with her, gluten. And so, unfortunately, I'm going to be the one that's doing most of the talking today, but Meredith will talk as she can. Want to welcome our panel today. Can you guys see everybody? Do we need to maybe turn? Everyone's okay? Turn a little bit more. Can we kind of open up things so that people on the front here can see? There we go. I think that'll be good. Yeah? Awesome. Great. Okay, so I opened up the series. I'm going to sit so I don't... Oh, there's my water over there. I opened up the series by just kind of explaining a bit about why community is important at Trinity Vineyard and how the idea of a church building is something that was 300 years after Christianity got its start, and that everybody met in their homes. They met in their under trees or whatever, and met as families and small communities together. We looked at Romans 16, where Paul is greeting all of these different people, and he keeps saying, greet the person here for her, because she's been working so hard in God, and greet the people that meet in her church, greet Priscilla and Aquila and the people that meet in their church. And we could see that there was a definite cluster of communities that were all a part of what the Roman church was, that it wasn't a building like this with four walls and rows of seats and things like that. And we also looked at the why can't the pastor just look after our needs? And so I broke down that within a week for a pastor who has 168 hours in that week, that by the time that he takes a shower in the morning, has breakfast, maybe sleeps 8 hours a day, takes a 24-hour Sabbath. There was a few things that basically he was left with 80 hours in a week to meet with people. That didn't include sermon prep, that didn't include family time, that didn't include any of the other normal things, traveling to and from work or to and from his meetings. So just within those 80 hours, if a pastor looks after 100 people in his congregation, he has 48 minutes per person to meet with 100 people in a week. And we realized that it's just not possible for an entire congregation to be properly looked after by one person. And so we need community. We need community groups to come around each other and support each other, pray for one another, and help each other out. Community is so important when it comes to the church. And even Jesus, he met with small groups of people. Yeah, he taught large numbers. He taught people in the thousands. But he had a small group of people that he met with on a regular basis. And so this is why we are so passionate about community at Trinity Vineyard. No, should be, it's already on.
Hello? Okay. This is why I should not be talking. Last week I talked about how a community functions and what a healthy biblical community looks like. And I gave 8 characteristics of what they were. And the first one was generosity. So, you know, in a healthy biblical community group, when you have someone in your community that is lacking or in need and you have that, it's just natural to give, to be generous of your things to help. The next one was empathy, talking about being empathetic to the people. So if someone in your group is in pain, mourning, then we mourn with them. It's feeling what our community of friends and believers feel. The next one was humility, being humble when we make mistakes and going to a person and correcting things. Pride is a very big fall of us as man. It's talked about so much in the Bible, and so we need to ensure that we always are humble with our family and our community. The next one was unity, and unity is the biggest one to deal with in community, especially the larger groups that you have. How to deal with conflict, how to deal with gossip. If you were here last week, you saw us play the broken telephone game, and it didn't go well. We started with one sentence, and at the end it was something totally different, but it just showed how when we say something, how skewed it can be and how much it can break the unity in a group. And that is not, in James it talks about how our tongue can be like a spark in a forest fire and the evil that it can cause. And so it's very clear that we need to watch our tongue. And I think unity is one of the biggest things that breaks a community and causes distrust and disloyalty and all of that breakdown. So that was a big one that we talked about. The next one was hospitality, just opening up our homes and loving people and hosting people and taking care of people that way. Forgiveness, forgiving, knowing how to forgive people when they've hurt you, and also going to people asking for forgiveness when we need it. And that's, again, where humility comes in, and forgiveness is not shutting the door on what happened, but forgiveness is more so between us and God, and that we're called to forgive. We are commanded to forgive. The next one was accountability, holding people accountable for their sins. And that looks like, going to someone, and accountability has to be done in love, kindness, and grace. If you have somebody that has said, I need you to hold me accountable, I need you to speak into my life, that is where we say to somebody, hey, look, I see you're really struggling with this sin, and I want to walk with you in this. It's not going to them and pointing a finger and saying, you're a sinful so-and-so, and you need it's doing it in love. And we cause a lot more harm when we don't do things in love than when we just think that we're doing things in love by just going in and pointing out everybody's sin. And the Bible is very clear in talking about how we need to remove the log from our own eye before we can remove the speck from our brothers and sisters. And so that is a huge thing in the church that we need to make sure that we're okay, that we're not being sinful in ours. And the last one is love. And love is basically, God is love. So love encompasses it all. We can't do the other 7 if we don't have love. And it's very clear in the Bible that if you hate your brother or sister, then you can't love God. You have to do everything in love, all of those. And so that was basically the crutch of what we talked about last week. So this week's looks a little different because we are joined on stage with 5 beautiful people. And so all of these people have different journeys in walks of community groups. And so we want to spend some time talking to them and seeing what community groups have been like in their life and how it's transformed and changed their life.
Yeah, so we'll start with Patrick today, if I can find my right cue cards. So Patrick, you've been attending Trinity Vineyard for 4 years now, since 2020. The cameras and making sure that the people at home, which, by the way, I don't know if we've welcomed you at home. If you're watching online, welcome. Patrick is the one responsible for doing that. Would you be willing to share just briefly a bit about what brought you to Trinity Vineyard?
Okay, yeah. So my name is Patrick. I'm a member of this community for 4 years. My belonging here was actually more or less accidental. It was during COVID-19, and the government had stopped the in-person gathering in churches. And so the church leadership reached out about the possibility of us providing the live streaming services for people now because they'll be at home. And so that was like my second interaction with the church. I knew about the church before we'd even come and share this creative space with a few people, but I wasn't a member. And at the time, I never used to belong to like a church setup. And so that's how the journey began. So we started, and over time, of course, after now COVID, people came.
That's awesome. So just by chance, by world circumstances, Patrick joined this community and was part of anything before, correct? Yeah? So how long have you been a part of a community group?
I think now it's a few months, 1 year and a few months.
Okay.
So I think it was last year. I believe in becoming part of that group. I didn't feel like that was something that I could really do, joining the community, not even being a leader. And so when we started, we'd meet on Fridays, and it became like a very good sort of family over time. And so now even the transition from just being a member, I was a Johnny come late because the group was already formed. This part where I'm talking about the push and pull between me and this community leader who implored me to join that group, there was a bit of pushback. I didn't want, so it took like 3 months, and already that community had already been formed. So I was a Johnny come late to that particular group. But I also realized over time that this was just a community of people on this journey. And what I used to feel before about myself and my feelings of inadequacy in terms of the spiritual journey that I was on, it actually now became clear that I wasn't alone. And for that reason alone, I was able now to really apply myself and even look forward to that. Yeah. And it's been a very good journey. And so I did not also become a leader because people elected me to become. It just happened that, you know, when you're in a family setup, a community setup, obviously there are ways in which you would, know how to do things and take charge sometimes. And then over time, now people start believing in your abilities to, decide things, influence how we can do things better, and even making community fun. Our community, I'm not sure about the rest, maybe we'll hear from them, but ours is a very fun group, and we get to meet, and the first thing we do after we meet, after we pray, is to let everyone talk about how their week has been, especially when we used to do weekly meetings on Fridays. And so offering people that opportunity to talk about how their life has been. And it's not about the plastic wanting to sound like you've had like a very good week or anything. It's the opportunity for you to talk about how you are, how your family is, and how that week has been. And whether it was painful, whether it was, whatever it is, like you can talk to these people and they would listen to you, and they would actually care, and they would actually prefer solutions. If it's prayers, then we can make prayers in that particular group. So for me, it almost sounded like these are free sessions, therapy sessions that we get to attend every Fridays. And then on top of that, it used to be really fun. So we'd meet, we'd hug, we'd share meals. And imagine having a group of 10 people. So one person brings something to the community, the other person is willing to make it or bring something else, and then we'd share that in community. That is something that I'd never really experienced it at such a level. And so that's how I got into it, and that's where the leadership bit came in.
Great, thank you. Awesome. And you've not had any formal training, yeah?
In terms of leadership?
Yeah.
No.
So, as an encouragement to those of you who are thinking about what can I do if I want to be a leader, but I'm not trained. You don't need to be trained. You don't need a theological degree. You don't need a therapy degree. You just need to be someone who's willing to meet with people and share time with them and with God. But Patrick, would you encourage people to join a community group?
Oh, yes.
Why would you encourage them to do so?
So let me just give my example, and I will try to be quick. So now, remember this community that I was invited to? I was actually chased from the one I'd come in on Fridays once in a while. So they told me, we do not need to see you here. You need to belong to that other one. And so eventually, 3 months down the line, I joined. And so the first time I went, I felt like these are people I used to see. Because then, see, I'd belonged to this church for between 3 years at the time. So these are people I'd seen, never really interacted with, or the surface level where we get to go to the back, get the tea, say hi to one person, like that. But over time, I got to know people for who they are, and getting to meet people in their various walks in this journey, and actually imagining yourself as you're on that journey as well. You feel like you have comrades, you have people that you're walking with. And then community also provided the opportunity for us to really delve deeper into, because on Sundays we'd come to church, there's a talk, and then immediately after the talk, everyone goes. But for those of us who had questions, who really wanted to know more, then community also provided an opportunity for us to get to really go deeper into that which was discussed either last Sunday or the previous Sunday. And by that, it provided clarity on very many things, and also getting to hear about different perspectives from those community members about how they understood what it is that was being discussed. So that's one. Two, so the community that I belong to is for people like us. So people with small kids. And so even for my kids who are at the back, they are helping me with the technical things. They also got to meet friends, okay? So that every Friday, I would tell them, today we are going for community, and I'd want to tag them along. And then some members of our communities would also come with their own kids. And so also friendship was formed, not just from us, even our little children. And so out of that, they've also formed bonds with their peers. Now they get invited to birthday parties. We get to plan hangouts for the kids just. And so for that, really, for me, that was really important. And not just that, even in our own community, amongst us, we now got to know each other better. And so we became friends. Yeah, we became friends, we became family, we became involved in every person's journey, the challenges of life. So at some point, I'd feel really low about something, and it was very easy for me, continuous, like it becomes very easy for me to just reach out to a member, talk to them about what it is I'm going through, and even them just proffering advice, prayers, or something like that. So for me, what I'd really want to encourage people is that this is good. This is good community. We get to meet for 2.5 hours every Sunday. But community now provides that deeper connection, especially for the people that are on this journey. And you get to make friends for free. You get to get free therapy sessions for free again. And you also get to eat food, okay, communally, which is something that, and in our community, maybe I'll get to know about theirs, we've actually been even planning things outside the community. So one of our members left the country. We even planned something for them. We went and spent a day together at some very fancy place. And that was also nice, as a family. So there are advantages to belonging. That sense of belongingness, friendship, family, I cannot equate it to anything else.
great.
That's why I'm here today.
Great. Thank you so much, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick. All right, Miss Tabitha. Tabitha here is the wonderful wife to our dear friend Sammy, who cannot be here because they actually attend another church. So hers is an interesting story. Tabitha is also the mom to Wendo and Ethan, two awesome little boys that we love so much. How long have you been in your community group, Tabitha?
Hi, everyone. Being in our community has been so amazing, super duper amazing. I mean, I got to meet. I remember the first time when Edgar was talking about the community and saying that the church would form different small groups so that people would fit in in the different groups. And he said that do not be expected to meet friends, just go and experience the love of God there. But for me, I have met friends. We say with Sammy, though we go to a different church, but we never miss community. No matter what, we never miss community. Though, anytime we've been told that we are meeting, like last time we met here for Shabbat, we didn't want to miss. So it has been amazing for me. It has been a blessing. And of course, we cry together. It's an open space. It has been an open space for me. It has been home for me. It has been I cannot even really try to put the right words to it because I have, coming from a different church, of course there's community there. And I've been to other churches in this journey of life. I have met a group, I've met a community group that is real. And my husband got an attack at the back. And the muscles cramped, and he couldn't do anything. And for me, I couldn't lift him. And what I did, I said, I have a family, I have a group, I have people. I tried to call, the phone was not going through Medis. I sent her a text, knowing that she would tell everybody what is going on. And I told them, please say a prayer. Because at that and I knew they prayed, because me, I just told God, hear their prayer. And I just asked, I told him to come and assist you. He couldn't even reach out to his phone. But somehow he got the strength, called somebody, brought him a deep heat, applied the deep heat, and after a few minutes, he was able to stand and close the church and walk home. And I believe it's because of the prayer, because I couldn't lift him up. I couldn't do anything. I believe it's the prayer. So my experience in the community group is a home. Is a people whom they can hold your hand when you're weak. They can cheer you up. They can celebrate with you. And they speak blessings of our homes. Even when you feel like you're weak, you know there's somebody praying for you. So it has been an amazing journey for me since the inception of the community group. Yeah.
So how did you hear about the community groups not being a part of Trinity?
So I have family members here. The Kiman is high. Yeah, most of them are not here. But in our church, every worker is given a leave, 30 or 28 working days. So we discussed and said, this time round, we're not going to travel. We're going to come to this church where family members come. And let's see what is there. So I've been hearing about Agora, about Trinity, of course in Nakuru here, the good and the bad. So he said, we are going to experience it for ourselves. So we came here. And at that time, we were going through a lot. We were really hurt, and we didn't know how we are going to go on. Being ministers and serving there, we didn't know how we are going to go back after this leave, going back. I didn't know how. I'm not the one employed, is my there. So we came here, and at that period, God had it that the community group was being formed, and they were teaching series about the community group, how to form it and how to go about it. And Edgar said that you guys go and register. So we came after the service. we were talking to each other, asking my in-laws, "Oh, where are we going to register? You guys, where are we going to register?" And then a friend of mine, Meso, told us, "You guys come. I'm going to register you under Medith and Sean." We didn't know. and we were a bit skeptical, but he told us, "You guys come. Register your names here." And he took our names by force, literally. But we started and we went by faith, not knowing. Now that we were really hurt, we were like, we can't leave church. We are hurt in church. Let's just take a step of faith and just go. And we went, and it was amazing. Yeah.
Sammy and Tabby are OGs of the group. They're our original people. They were first on the list. I love it. How do you take what we do in community group, and how do you take it back to your church or in the community that you also live with there?
That's a beautiful question. Because back there, I serve a lot there. I'm like in everything there. I like giving myself back because God has been so amazing in my life. And my husband, being an adopted child, he also has this urge of just serving God and giving back to the community and being there for people. So we literally told ourselves, we come to a community group to be fired up. Then we go back there with the zeal to give back more. So we come, get refilled, get energized, get therapy, everything amazing, and then we go back there and you feel like, yes, you have the strength to go back. It doesn't matter what happens outside there, because I got the backup there. I got my, there's somewhere where I go to meet with my God, and he fills me up in the community. So everything that we are taught, we've learned about the Holy Spirit, about serving, being ministers in our families, not being just a couple, but how you serve God in your marriage and your families. And everything we learn, we actually go back to actualize, because there is where we work, here we come to be filled. So I remember one day I was asking God, where am I going to serve? I've been serving everywhere, but I want to serve somewhere. And that day, Meredith was speaking here, and I remember being reminded to go back to the kids. And whatever I learned here, and I told them to pray for me, because I've been led to go to the kids department. I've been serving the women, the youth. I want to go back to the kids. And God created opportunities for me to go serve with the kids in the dump site, the kids were in church, everywhere. And it has been amazing, because I got my word and I literally go there and share it. Whatever has been impacted, I go out and share, because we are told we'll be known by our actions or our fruits. So literally I go back there and I impart everything that is amazing for me. Personally, it has been amazing. It's like I come here, being watered, filled, go back and give back, yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Tabitha.
Let's turn to Gary. How are you today, Gary?
Good.
Are you feeling nervous?
Kinda, yeah.
You might have seen Favor. I mean, Gary and Favor look very similar. And Gary's also part of the worship team. And Gary's also part of the worship team. As you saw him singing this morning, he also plays keyboard. Gary, your community looks a little bit different because you're a part of the Galaxarium group. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For those that are not familiar with Galaxarium, can you explain a bit about what it is that you guys do?
It's about beauty in life, who we are, like for me as a father, who I am as a father, and as Garrison, and what I do, my passion, the things that I do, yeah. I do my passion, the things that I do, yeah.
What are some of the passions that you do as part of Galaxarium?
I love getting messy with things.
Yeah.
Mostly I do woodwork at Galaxarium, a little bit of painting, yeah.
Yeah. So if you've seen some of the artwork over by where the Sunday school meets, Galaxarium guys, they do some of that. They'll do maybe some teaching with some like paint and sips. There was one a few months ago for the kids, and I think there's even one coming up. So, oh, it was yesterday. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I totally lost track of time. So Galaxarium does things like that, and that's part of what Gary is a part of. So what are some of the things that you guys do when you get together, apart from?
Most of the time when we get together, most of the time we work, because actually we are the group that meets 5 days a week. So there's work, and sometimes we forget about work and sit down and talk about things that we go through in life. Yeah.
And so how do you support and encourage one another when you're talking about the things that you're going through in life?
Mostly through scriptures, and also sharing our stories. Like if I share my story with someone today and how God has seen me through that, and sometimes you might realize, oh, I'm in the same spot right now, and I need this. So if it worked for you, then can we pray about it and see how it goes? Yeah.
And so how does that help you with your walk with God?
Personally, it changes my whole view about God and how I relate to God every day. Because sometimes I think there's some times back I was in a space where I felt like I'm not worth it. You look at your life, things that you do every day, and you realize, I'm a mess. So this part doesn't really fit me that well. But then when you have friends that sit down with you and tells you that it's okay and God cares, it helps a lot. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you don't have to have your life together to be a part of a community group. You don't have to be perfect to be a part of a community group?
No, actually, the uniqueness is just being there, however broken you are, and accepting yourself in that space and allowing God to take charge in your life. Yeah.
That's a fantastic answer, Gary. I just want you to know that applause is because what you said spoke to people. Just like the group speaks to you and you speak to the guys in your group, you've now spoken to everybody here. And so I just want to encourage you with that. Would you encourage people to be a part of a group? And why would you say so?
Yes, I will. For me, I feel like it's a very lonely path. When it gets lonely on this journey when you have no one else to talk to, when you don't have a friend to support you, because there's sometimes a lot of voice in our head really gets loud, and you need someone. The difference between what your head is screaming loud and what God is saying to you, and sometimes you might not have gone through the Bible, but someone that has gone through that, the Bible will share with you some verses and tells you this is what God is speaking over you right now, and it makes a difference.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Gary.
Pira. So Pira's been attending Trinity for 6 years now, correct? Is that right?
You actually saw her this morning, so one of the ways she serves Trinity is by hosting. You will also see her on Sundays in the back serving you your tea. And she's also one of the people that whenever we need volunteers, she immediately raises her hand and volunteers where needed. Pierre has a different story than everybody else up here as well. Your community group is on hiatus right now, right? How long has it been on hiatus for?
Like, I think if you zoom in closely, like on my chest, you'll see a kiwaru, yeah, you know, which is Greek for, I feel a bit jealous when everyone else shares their story, because we haven't met in a year, yeah. Since we broke up during the last Shabbat, which is essentially the last dinner, yeah, we broke up, guys, like a band. We have not
We won't
met
say who
in
the
a
leader
year.
is.
No, but I think it's very understandable because our leader has also been going through a lot, I guess, personally. And it's understandable because we're together, you know, we are alone together. Even though we're not meeting communally, we actually check up on each other individually. And in every sense of the word, is in everyone's business, you know? So you get to know if someone is grieving or if they're happy, you celebrate with them. And I really miss that because there's not a lot of people you can just approach and tell them, how are you doing? You know, it's not very nice. The second thing is the series. I used to love the series. And I think I still do them personally because we did giving, we did solitude, we did community. One of the best lessons that I've learned during community was how to be an anxious presence. And I really did not realize how much we used to hurry through life, you know. You could just be walking through town and it's like everyone is going somewhere and they didn't tell you they're going somewhere, you know, and you're like, where are you guys going? So if you're like at the line in the supermarket and you're like, my line is not moving fast enough, I need to shift and go to the next one. You're like, where's the hurry? You know, where am I going? What's all this? Because in this rush, it's really easy to miss the voice of God because you're never being, you're always becoming, you know, you're like always in a rush to go somewhere, yeah.
So not being in a community group right now, would you encourage people or would you even be interested in leading your own group?
I would very much like to lead one, but I travel a lot. So I'm never constantly in one space, which is why I really loved being like just coming to Trinity. But I would very much encourage anyone, if you can, please lead a community. It doesn't have to be people from this church, you know, just your neighbors at home, you know, in your apartment complex. There was a series we did a few Sundays ago, and there's a question on why a lot of people don't host people in their home. And I think it's because we are always striving for perfection. You're like, I don't have the nicest seats, and my cups are not the nicest, and I don't have a TV, you know, all those things. But I think just welcoming people into your home is one of the best things because a lot of the people don't really care about all those things. They just want to be with other people, yeah.
And like you said, a lot of people also talked about, but I can't serve a big meal, right? But it doesn't have to be a big meal. It can be just chai and bread. It doesn't have to be anything, or you alternate. I think that's one of the other hindrances is you don't think your home is good enough, your things are good enough, or that you have the money. But like we're hearing, community is just free therapy. It's being with people who can love you and pray with you and understand you. And so I thank you, Pierre, because I think that's really essential. That needs to be known, that community groups are not meant to be perfect because we're all broken people that get together, and we get to be broken together and encourage each other on the walk.
I think maybe to just add the last bit, I was brought to Trinity by a community. Yeah, it was, we used to have a group, it was called Movie Marathon, and we would just meet like over the weekend. That time I was pretty young, so I was looking for spaces to have fun without alcohol, right? And we just used to meet and just watch movies for the whole weekend. A lot of the time we just watched one movie and then we'd just be talking and playing games and stuff. And those people brought me to Trinity. So when we outgrew the group, people became parents, they moved outside the country, they had, big people jobs. When when I got the opportunity to join another community, I jumped on it immediately. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you, Pierre.
Michelle. Michelle's been attending Trinity for 9 years now, and she is the mom to Storm. Storm? Oh, she ran away to play. Awesome. She serves in the children's ministry and on the prayer team, and she also volunteers around Trinity when needed for different events and things like that. But Michelle, you've been a part of 2 different community groups in the past year and a half. Is that right?
Yes.
So what happened to the first one?
I think it's the one Pierre is in at the moment. So when we stopped meeting for about 2 months, actually like 3 months, my mom joined another community group. And my mom is really terrible at reading maps. So she told me, please help me to read this map so that I can go to this community group. So I went with her the first time, and I loved it. The atmosphere, as everyone is saying, the free therapy. And at first I was like, yeah, I can't be in the same community group as my mom. Like, you go places to escape your parents, so I can't come here. Yeah, but Mary Death convinced me, and yeah, it was actually nice. Nicer than I thought it would be.
And so, what does it look like for you for a typical community group get-together?
So it's people. There has to be people there. Worship, eating is a big part, which I like. The way Patrick said, the kids getting together, because most of our people in our community group also have kids. So the kids getting together, they play, they watch movies, they become friends. And also talking, listening to each other, praying for each other, and doing series together, which I really like.
So with being part of a community group of some sort for a while, do you have any desire to lead a group of your own at some point?
Yes,
Yeah?
I do.
And so how do you want it to look?
I think I want it to look like the community that I've experienced. So I want to be surrounded by people so that we can love each other, pray for each other, because life is really tough. And if you do life alone, most of the time you'll almost give up on it. So yeah, being there for each other, praying for each other, I think I really want that to be a huge part of it.
Okay. So if someone wanted to come to you after the service and ask you to be their community group leader, would you be open for that, or are you still taking your time?
I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
You ready? Okay. I'm sorry, I threw you under the bus with that one. That wasn't on the list that we gave you earlier this week. How has being in a community group changed your life, or what has it done with your walk with God?
I think it has played a huge role in my walk with Jesus, because truthfully, as I've been in this church for 9 years, but most of the time I was like a Sunday kind of Christian. I do my life on Monday to Saturday. On Sunday, I just have to show up to church, because like in Kenya, most people are Christians by default. because you started going to church when you are so young. You just grew up saying you're a Christian. And for a long time, being a Christian to me was like, I just have to show up on Sunday. And that's it. But like joining community has really played a huge part. It has made me invite Jesus in every day of the week. I no longer just read my Bible on Sunday in church. I no longer pray just on Sunday. Yeah, so it has turned me from a Sunday kind of Christian to an everyday kind of Christian.
That's awesome. And so you're interested in being a leader of a small group, and so what would you say to people to encourage them to be a part of a community group?
I'll say life is tough, and it's nice to be part of a community because truthfully, most of the people in church, you'll feel hurt because you'll go around saying, I went through this period alone. No one saw me. I was sick. No one came to comfort me. But when someone else was sick, everyone went to see them. But I think it's really important to be part of a community because our leaders, when they stand here, they can't be invested in each and every single person. But when we're in a small group, the Tabitha was saying, if you are going through something, you just need to text one person, or you can even, so for us in our community group, we have like a WhatsApp group. So if you're going through something, you need prayers for anything, you just post it there and you say, guys, I'm going through this. I need you guys. Can you do this for me? And your community can do that. So being part of a community, it will help us feel the love of God. It will help us also to be seen. And as humans, we just all want to be seen.
That's great. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you to all of our panel.
Just really quickly to close it out, is there anything that any of you want to say to the congregation that will encourage them to join?
Oh, yeah. I think one thing I would like to say is that communities are very different. Like, no one is the same. So if you want a community, if you're like a mom, I think there's a community for moms. If you are later living in Naka, there's a community in that area. If you want people who are, adulting, people who are trying to just navigate through life, there's a community for that. For every aspect of your community, there's something for you. So you just have to find it and you'll belong. Yeah.
And I'd like also to add and urge each and every one of us who is not in a community. As you've said, this alone is not enough. I believe there's this opportunity for for God to touch each and every one's life through a small group. It is so enriching. And as human beings, we don't like change. We just like kawaidaness. We just like to conform to our daily routines. So I'd urge us to take a step of faith. Take a step of faith, take a leap of faith, join a group. You will never regret.
So I will do this in an example. And as I said, my walk in faith, if we were to look at it in terms of we are going to provide you with this leadership position because of where you are, maybe I wouldn't be my community leader, okay? But one of the things that have stood out for me was in the course of having been in community and us guys showing up for one another. By the way, the part about showing up for people, it comes automatically. So we use WhatsApp groups to organize ourselves. And so someone wrote on the group, one of our members, that my mom has been checked into a hospital, it's an emergency, and I don't know what to do, okay? And within minutes, 2 people were in that specific hospital in like 10 minutes. Yeah? And so I would get calls. Oh, so and so came. This other person brought food. You know, it's the being there for each other. There's this time I was invited through now my kids, because now my kids have also become part of the younger community. And so when these other kids were having their birthday parties, they really insisted that my kids have to be there, and I was also there. And while we were at that party, you know, we get to talk. And the thing about friendship and family is, it's not just that we are Christians, it's also about being humans and interacting with fellow humans. And at the end of the day, as we were going home now, the man of the house for that specific household, so the lady is the member to our community and the church, so the husband does not come to church. And for the longest time, the husband was very skeptical about church, and I think that's how they were socialized. But at the end of it, as we were walking away, he said, I'm so impressed with what I've seen today that I had guests in my house, people like me, men, you know, fathers with their kids, and you actually came, and this was just a kids thing. I'm so impressed, I'd even want to come to this church to figure things out, how you do things, okay? And he actually gave me a date. He's going to come in December when you're having the Christmas party. So that's like when he felt it would be comfortable for him to come. But you know the weight of having to change people just by being you. Like, we didn't struggle to pummel words into him that you need to join us. Just enjoyed looking at how we were interacting, how we show up for each other, and that planted a seed in them, and they're actually willing to show up. One thing I didn't also mention is my wife belongs to a different church, and sometimes I also evaluate if this is having an impact on me based on how she pushes me. Sometimes it's on Friday. I'm supposed to pick her as we go home from work. And then she reminds me, ama leo, it's Friday, mi nijipange. So you know that talk. So which means, now that it's Friday and I know you have community, could I as well just organize myself and find my way home? Because she actually thinks or knows that this is very important. And she has also had a chance to come to our community meetings. And in one of those community meetings, she attested that she has also seen change. Sometimes it's not about what we think, it's also about the people we are with and how they think that this is also influencing you. And so my appeal to every member of this church is at least get a community. Someone said here that life is already too hard dealing with it on yourself. And community then becomes like, like we are together like this. So you'll never carry a burden alone. You will have people that you can actually serve, because it's not about being served, it's also about being of service to people in that particular group. So that is what I'd encourage people to join those community groups.
Me, I would say we all have potential, and we are good at something. And sometimes we might not be confident enough to step up to do that in a big setup, but there is chance for us to grow in these small community groups. I learned to talk in a community group back in our church, Trinity Vineyard, and I remember the pastor used to tell us, some of you can talk, but you can't do it here. There's an opportunity for you in those small setups. So if you're shy in that small setup, you'll have two people that are shy like you, and you'll be shy together and talk about stuff. Yeah. So it is very important that you be in a group so that it doesn't get hard on you, it doesn't get lonely, and you don't get absorbed in what is in your head that tells you that you're not good at something, you're not good enough, such things. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. That's fantastic. Can we have another round of applause for our panel? And if I could have the worship team come back up, we'll get this stage put back together for you guys, and the prayer team as well. If there is anything that you need prayer for today, there'll be some people up front that will be more than happy to pray for you. If you're sick, you need some encouragement, whatever it is, we're here for you. We believe that things happen in prayer, and so please come forward. Please, if you would like to be a part of a community group, if you want to start a community group, please find us. Speak to George, speak to Michelle, speak to anybody that you've seen on the stage, and we'll get you plugged into a community group. We just thank you all for coming today, and we'll just let the worship team lead us for a little bit, and then George will close us out. Oh, I'm going to close us out. Yes. All right. Thank you, guys.
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father, known you as a friend. I have been in the goodness of God all my life. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. Every breath that I am able, I will sing the goodness of God. Oh, my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. Could you do that one more time? All my life. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the
prayer team will be here if you need it, if you need prayer. As we go, may we be a part of the community that serves the city. May we be a part of the community that declares the goodness of God. And may we find ways to be a part of community to one another. Bless you as you go. We look forward to seeing you again next week. And hey, we've gotten, I think, 1 month under our belt without Edgar here. So we miss you, Edgar, and we look forward to coming back soon. Bless you as you go.